As minimalism continues to grow in popularity and gain the attention of millions around the world, I think it's fairly safe to assume that this movement isn't slowing down anytime soon. From the hills of Hollywood to the windmills and open fields of the Netherlands and beyond, this idea of owning less is changing lives due to the likes of many. But there's still one question that remains unanswered, at least for some. How much do I really need? See, like most, I stumbled across minimalism by accident, although I prefer to call it a happy accident because prior to, my life was headed down the same path the majority tend to travel, filled with unnecessary consumption. The average household has roughly 300,000 items in it. And about 6 years ago, my 700 square foot apartment, believe it or not, wasn't far off from this statistic. And it was just me living there. That wasn't until a few important people in my life planted an unusual seed in my heart in the form of a question. How much do you really need? So today, that's exactly what we're talking about. How much do you really need as a minimalist? And spoiler alert, the answer isn't some magical set number of possessions. In fact, I don't count my possessions. I never have, and I doubt I ever will. Here's why. The total number of possessions doesn't matter. The purpose of those possessions does. Okay, in good old Ronald L. Banks fashion, I decided to kick this conversation off with what most would consider a pretty controversial topic in the minimalism space, depending on who you ask. Possessions. How many is too many? How much is enough? What's the magic number? Well, I hate to break it to you, but the magic isn't in some random number. Instead, the magic comes from enough. See, the exact number of possessions you own doesn't matter, mostly, as long as it's not excessive and unnecessary. What does matter is the purpose behind those possessions. Think about how much you own but don't actually use. Now ask yourself if that item or group of items are just hanging in the closet or packed in boxes stacked in the basement along the one wall you never look at. What purpose is it really serving? Possessions without purpose, and I'm talking meaningful purpose in your life, are possessions I challenge you to question whether or not you truly need it. Their life is not your life, and vice versa. In this vastly diverse society and world we live in, there's a lot to learn and observe, from different cultures and rituals to beliefs and pathways of thinking. In my opinion, having this diversity is a beautiful thing. It means there's always room for interpretation and implementation. And these ideals of minimalist living, especially in recent history, is no different. See, I mentioned this to serve as a reminder that minimalist living, just like different cultures and beliefs, also carries a bit of diversity in its own light. For example, there's the extreme minimalist, the essentialist, the experientialist, the enoughist, the eco-minimalist, the soul minimalist. And I'm sure there's at least a dozen more interpretations I missed, which is why their life is not your life and vice versa. In short, don't spend your time nor energy comparing your life to someone else's. How little they decide to own or how much they choose to still consume is a choice they made. Minimalist living, regardless of how you package it, comes with a choice you have to make and a core principle that's always the same. Say yes to less of what doesn't add value, so you never have to say no to what actually matters. Keep growing on your journey. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up for me if you enjoyed it. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. But most importantly, always stay true to you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.